What's up, family? This is actually Herbalist Kareem, and I'm actually going to put this information about what the actual title says: virtual addresses and actually home address, to help you understand it a lot better. Because it's a little confusion, and I have to apologize to my members, but because I put information saying that your home address, don't use a virtual address, and then I actually put out later on saying virtual address that you could use. So let me clear up some things for my members, so you can understand which ones and how, and actually other ways you can use a virtual address, other ways you can use an address outside of your home address. But before I go into that, I want to say this. This video, for one, will only be up for a few days before the actual weekend, and then I'm going to actually put it in the membership area, and that's where it's going to stay. And then because this is YouTube, so I mean, a lot of information that I actually try to talk about and put out, it's not going to be always on the YouTube area. It's being in the membership area. It allows me to control it a lot bit better, and not have all these clowns just switching up and saying things differently from what I said, and then actually blasting it out there to the YouTube world and charging you people an arm and a leg for information that is, that doesn't need to be sold for thousands of dollars. So that's my way, and I have other reasons why. And then also the webinars will be coming. I have a little bit more freer time because I have an individual that came out to actually help and assist me a lot better, so I can be more successful in 2017 with answering you guys' calls, and actually the members that are getting stuck in certain areas in the class, as well as individuals that want that one-on-one with me. So in order for me to do all of that, I need a little bit more time to make that happen. So I'll be able to put those webinars out, a lot of free webinars out there more successfully on a weekly basis coming up the end of this month right here. And then boom, come February, it'll just be rolling out on a regular basis. So I'll be able to just boom, 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 boom. So anyways, let's get to this actual topic of this actual virtual address thing. First of all, when you're dealing with, let me put this out there too first. When you're dealing with a home address, when you're applying for the vendors, you can use your home address, okay? You can use your home address when you're applying for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vendors, whatever vendors you know about, you can use your home address. As soon as that's done, and you can see it on your Dun & Bradstreet profile reporting, now you want to segue over to an actual virtual address, a shared address, or either, a brick and mortar. Now, the only virtual address that I know that is actually successful at masking the actual that it's not really a brick and mortar is Regus, and I'll probably put a link down there so you can know the correct spelling. Regus address is the only virtual address that I know that won't get you flagged. They've been doing this for over 10 plus years, so they know what they're doing. And what a virtual address really is, it masks your home address with your true location that you're using. It masks, and these are for mask is that home address or whatever address that you don't want people to see, or the creditors, because look better than what you are. Because now, is that illegal for what Regus is doing? No, but is it immoral? Kind of. They found a loophole and they work in it, and they are charging people a monthly service to help you mask the address for them. Now, Regus will actually take they take multiple things. They allow you to use a shared office. They allow you to come in and actually pay for meetings monthly. They'll take your phone calls, emails. They'll actually take your address and forward your mail to you and whatnot. They'll let you use your address and forward your mail to you and whatnot. So it depends on what city you're in or county you're in. They're going to charge you anywhere between $50 to $110, $150 a month. So when I first started out, it was certain things I couldn't pay for. I was actually stressed out at my job. So when I'm trying to get my actual business going, I needed certain things. You'll notice the little things that don't cost a lot, but cost little tiny money that add up, like $50 here, $20 here, $100 here, $200 here. That was adding up, and it was like compressing on my time wise, because I had bills to pay, just like you got bills to pay. So I couldn't really farm money out here. So there was issues when it came to that. So let me tell you a story. It's not recommended. So for entertainment purposes, I'm going to tell you a story about some individuals on how they got their address and how they dealt with addresses when they got theirs. So listen to the story completely. So you can understand how you can actually maybe apply this to yourself. Is it illegal? No. Is it immoral? Probably so. But you can actually take the risk road you want to do. So I'm going to give you two options, really three. The first option is actually pay for a brick and mortar or virtual address and, pay the monthly service and do what you need to do through Regis. The actual second option is these individuals that I know among this store right here, they were strapped. They didn't have a lot of money. They were like, man, how am I going to actually pay this? This is costing me $100, $110 a month through virtual address that I have to pay for. So they said to themselves, you know what? Let me call up virtual address. Let me call up the virtual address Regis and get the actual address. So they called up, they filled out the contract with Regis and everything, and Regis wanted to charge them $110. This is what I heard an individual tell me. So they were like, wow, $110. So they paid that $110. They got the address now. And now they got the address from Regis for the first month, 1 month. They actually started updating all the information on Dun & Bradstreet. They updated their information on actually their vendors that they started applying for, creditors that they wanted to apply for. They had that same address they used for the actual banks. And everywhere they actually were doing business, they used this Regis address for the first month. But they paid for the first month, but they used that address. They use that address for a whole year until they can get on their feet to maybe get a shared office or actual brick and mortar. But when they actually paid, if you caught what I said, they paid for the first month. After they got that address, they went down to their local post office and they actually did a temporary forwarding address, not a permanent, a temporary forwarding address. They filled it out and they put the Regis address down. And then they actually said this address will be temporarily forwarded for 1 full year. Because I believe the post office only lets you do it for 1 year. At least that's what they told me. And then boom, after they put down the whole year, then they had it forwarded to where? Their home address. And then it got, so every time the vendors or anyone would send them any mail, it would get intercepted by the post office and sent to their home address. So is that illegal? No. Is it immoral? Probably so. But did it get the job done for them and they didn't have no issues for over a year? They certainly did. And some of them I know went past the year and they just updated to forward an address at the P.O. box. If you don't understand this, replay this again and hear what I actually said. The actual third method they did was pretty much the same. They actually went and found, they drove around, and they said, maybe I can find me an actual location of a commercial or brick and mortar location. And what they looked for was those brick and mortar locations that were actually empty, that were supposed to be rented out, for about and they hadn't been rented out for over a year, over 2 years, and they just sitting. And the actual lease individuals or leasing company wanted so much money. Most people wasn't even renting. They've been sitting. You can drive around and find these yourself. But anyways, after they got that address, they looked at the address, the street, the suite number, and they updated this information on their Dun & Bradstreet, their vendors information. They didn't put this on their Secretary of State information. They used their home address on that. They didn't put this on the EIN number when they applied for that. They put their home address on that. Okay, so you understand. But the creditors, the Dun & Bradstreet, the banks, they put that address on there of an empty commercial business. Then they went down, before they started receiving mail and everything, they went down immediately and updated their address with temporarily with the post office. So they filled out another forwarding address and they put down this empty brick and mortar address that they are using now temporarily for a year and had it forwarded. So every time any creditor or vendor would forward or mail to that empty location that they're temporarily using for about a year or more to that address, it would be intercepted by the post office and sent to their home address. So is that illegal? Of course not. But is it immoral? I'm pretty sure it is. But one thing about it, keep in mind, Regis is immoral too. And they've been doing this over 20 plus years, using a virtual address to make sure they can hide your home address. But you got to pay them $110 a month because they're successful at using loopholes. So anyways, I just wanted to share that story with you about how you can use a home address, a virtual address, or brick and mortar. And if you broke, you can maybe even use that story. I don't recommend it, but it's up to you what you want to do and what you can do and what you feel you should do. But a lot of individuals tell you you shouldn't use nothing but this and that. They don't really know themselves. So you got to know how to actually use They're not going to appear and actually just try to, till you get to a better position financial wise. Use what you have and use the loopholes that you can use to get you here and get you there. For entertainment purposes, this was actually a message and it was approved by Herbalist Kareem. Anyways, I'm out. I'm going to let y'all go. And plus, like I said, this video will only be up for about a few days for the actual non-members to hear and see, and then so you can get a full understanding of what Kareem is talking about, just in case you was confused. But actually the members, the one that really has already paid for the class, they needed that information so they can not be confused by both videos that I put up. So anyways, I'm out. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.